Hi guys, my name is Vortex Fritz. I am the director / author of the book Ezra, as well as its upcoming sequel, Ezra 2. I am also the voice behind Ezra as well as St. Peter, and I pretty much was the one that casted this entire thing. I wanted to take a minute to thank everybody that was a part of the project, either by lending their hands in art, lending their voices for these characters to bring them to life, or just being a part of the server to cheer alongside of the sidelines. I really appreciate all of you guys. I wanted to specifically thank Parody, for making all of the art for this section. They are absolutely wonderful at their job. They also voice a couple of characters. The entire cast list is listed in the description for this section. I wanted to thank everybody for everything that they have done. I'm planning on working on understudy cuts depending on how well this goes, but I am hoping to do understudy cuts because our understudies are just as important as our actual actors. And I just, again, wanted to thank everybody for their time before I go into the whole history of everything, which it is going to be a bit lengthier, so the timestamp for when the actual book starts will be listed on the screen. A little PSA though, everything was filmed over Discord because everybody lives in different time zones, so it's a little bit odd because we don't all have the quote-unquote correct recording equipment. So all of this was done over Discord, so if anything cuts out midway through it, that is why. But we tried our best, and I'm really happy with how this project turned out. Little history lesson. This book was based on a D&D campaign I've been a part of since Session 0, which took place on April 5th of 2024. The campaign involved exploring the multiverse, allowing characters to come from various backgrounds, and my first character, Ezra Birkinshaw, who is the main character of this book, hailed from the Has-Been Hotel and Helluva Boss universe, which is around the time this first book takes place, being the first 2 seasons of Helluva Boss and the first season of Has-Been Hotel. Just a little PSA there. I then ended up switching characters 2/3 of the way through to use Dr. Avon Crane from the DC universe, but that's just a little side tidbit there. The main goal of this book was to provide insight on the character for those who are not a part of the campaign or did not have access to the original Discord server. However, through some peers enjoying the rough drafts that I had for this small project, this book was made. I aim to delve into Ezra's backstory and how her life was before the campaign. This book consists of numerous chapters and poems, some of which were presented to my actors in script form, and the timeline due to that may seem a bit disjointed due to that formatting. Additionally, this book does delve into some very dark themes such as drug use, alcoholism, suicide, and self-harm, as well as other things. The trigger warnings for this specific chapter / section will be listed in the description as well with the cast list. So please, viewers' discretion is advised. I want to express my gratitude to everyone who helped me create this book again, such as the artists, the voice actors, and the supporters from both my TikTok channel and my Discord servers. Your efforts are truly appreciated, and they do not go unnoticed. This project would have been so stressful if I didn't have any of the people who are working on this project to help me, and even still, it was a lot to juggle. It's important to note that most of these characters are not mine. I do not claim ownership to the shows Has-Been Hotel or Helluva Boss. They were both created by the talented Vivzy Pop and their team of wonderful and talented people. I'm simply a fan who just enjoys writing fan fiction of original characters for fun and use them to get better at writing and to use what I have experienced to someday make my own original stories in the end. This is mainly for fun. This is not for monetization. This is just to simply get my name out there and to use a passion project to hopefully open more doors for me in the future. With that being said, I hope you enjoy your listen or read wherever or however you're consuming this. And for those who want the original script, I have left a link to my Spirit fan fiction with this completed book. Enjoy.
Chapter 1. The Divorce. Once upon a time, there was a newlywed couple who dreamed about starting a family and living out their best lives. They were young and full of life, married at 19 years of age. The wife, a narwhal demon, wanted to stay where she knew best, in the Ring of Sloth, ruled by Belson. However, her husband, a shark demon, wanted to move closer to the Ring of Greed, ruled by Mammon, for a dangerous, well-paying job in Mafia. The wife refused to move to Greed. The husband refused to stay in Sloth. In all, they were having their first baby, who they named Ezra. After their daughter was born, they finally agreed it was time for a change, and the husband again thought they should move into Greed, but again the wife said no. They agreed, however, they would move to the Ring of Lust by Asmodeus. In the middle of the move, they had 2 more daughters, Cora and Rose. Their mafia man of a father, who was never present in their lives to begin with, started to belittle his wife, only seeing her as a toy to abuse as he could, due to his status, and as a result of his careless action, she fell pregnant with their only son. Every day from there on out was like treading on eggshells. Wrong move, and something could break. And this cycle repeated with the daughters once they grew older. The only ones who were not affected, Rose and Archie. Archie was treated like royalty, for he was the only other male in the house. And Rose decided to follow in her father's footsteps by also joining. As years went by, the mother quit her job due to her abuser's wish, in fear that she would be more dangerous if she said no. And around this time, Cora fell ill, causing Ezra to spend most of her time as a nurse and maid, rather than focusing on her studies. The house was quiet this November. The children had all been put to bed, all except the oldest daughter, who was sitting by her balcony window, admiring the lights of the club, right across from her. Faint music playing jasmine and crowds cheering. The place was called Ozzy, a nightclub and performers bar for the rich and elite for the most part. Ladies and gents dressed to the nines, in their finest suits and cocktail dresses, being greeted by the door by patrons and staff as they got out of their limos and fancy cars. This would usually be where her mother found her asleep. She would sit there all night until she fell asleep, until the place closed, causing the lights to go out. This was a normal thing for Maria Birkinshaw. Maria was a slender figure. She had light purple skin that wrapped around her bones. She heads to the balcony, sits by the railing, and looks at the lust-ring landscape with her tired blue eyes as she moves her red hair out of her face. Sullivan, Jack, Maria's husband, followed her up to the balcony. He is dressed in a well-fitted, double-breasted suit in the color of charcoal gray. His great green skin blending him into the moonlight shadows, leaving the only thing to stand out are his red eyes. He slowly walks to where she is sitting, his footsteps sounding heavy on the wooden floor.
And what exactly do you think you're doing?
Maria's eyes darted to her expression was one of brooding.
I'm reflecting. Winding down, I guess you could say. Archie is already in his bed, Rose is still out past her curfew, and Ezra has been taking care of Cora all day for the past week. It truly is time-consuming for a stay-at-home mother.
Okay, so why would you even bother if it's that difficult, considering you are so tired of what you created.
Do I have to give you a reason for every little thing?
Why do you have to be such a snappy woman? Would it kill you to be any nicer to the one you wed and made children with? Who helped you? Who made the reasons why you're a stay-at-home mom to begin with?
You act like I wanted this. I'm trying my best, okay? I'm trying my hardest to make this house into a home, not just a husk of happiness. I want this to be something that we can live in and make wonderful memories of it. The time comes that we need to move. 19 years of marriage, Jack. 19 years. We moved here together when you got that job with this Crimson fellow. Then you started to act like this was all of a sudden. And I said that our youngest daughter shouldn't be getting into drugs and gangs. Rose is only 14 years old. Even still, you have Ezra working her ass off and trying to turn her into a housewife when she's only a year older than Rose? She can barely speak English as it is.
Well, then she better get to learning. Hell, if I raise a useless child.
This was your idea. Your idea to move, not mine. How many times have I told you it would have been so much easier on both of us if we lived in Sloth? You would be safe, and she could learn faster, and we just had to move to lesser of all rings. And the streets are riddled with prostitutes and gangs. I'll be damned if it's even safe for her to go to school. What do you want me to do about it? Pray to the seven sins that our children will have a higher hue than your body count? I want you out.
Out? What makes you think you can kick me out of the house I paid for? You have no power against someone like me.
I don't care about your status. You barely did a thing in this household. What do you think the rest of your men are going to think about you when they hear about this? The rest of the ring? Our own children? The only reasons we got married are old enough to make their own decisions. We had the children that you wanted, and I'm done being your baby machine. I've had enough of it. So out of this house, out of our lives, we are getting a divorce.
Jack stares at Maria for a few moments, before his face twists in anger. Maria's eyes dart across his face again, where she tries to make a grimace. Jack looks at her again as her breath hits. She races up the stairs to her children's room. Slamming and locking as many doors shut, she gathers her kids and as many things of theirs that their arms can carry. Maria could hear Jack screaming as they go through the nearest window. Banging on the doors get louder,
Maria,
and more
you can't
frequent
just fucking
sounds
leave me
of
like
door
this!
giving goes all around the house. Maria and the three children dart for Jack's car, knowing he left the key the night before. The engine flares as they hear Jack's voice still in the house. Ezra looks off the back. All that her teary eyes are the fading light of all. Chapter 2. The Move. Who knows how many stops it took for them to get to where they needed to be. But the Birkenshaws made it to the Ring of Pride. The journey was tough, but in the span of a few days that they had, things started to add up. I found employment at a business called Vortex, working for the demon of television. Archie was slowly getting a true grasp on how the world really worked, and Maria stuck to what she knew by heart. They all stayed in this hotel, where Ezra gained traction with the Red Mill. But two demons in particular seemed to be very fun. The first was a lady who ran right up to Ezra, the smile on her face. The lady had blonde hair, was wearing a red suit. She grabbed Ezra's hand as she spoke.
Hi! Oh my goodness! Welcome to the hotel! You don't look like you're from around here. Are you new? Are you recently deceased?
Ezra looks confused, but smiles slightly at the
What? I'm from West.
Oh, that's a long ways of travel. What made you settle someplace so far away, if you don't mind me asking?
We were forced to move.
blonde lady, early morning star, said another demon, a tall deer man, who's also wearing a red suit and a smile.
Oh my.
She chuckles at herself as she pats the man on the shoulder.
Okay, well, I'm going to find someone who might want to help you get settled in. Well, why don't you make our guest feel at home while I help with some more things?
The man's smile widened.
Not a problem, my dear. I do not mind to sit here and lend an ear as you get something situated. Truly my pleasure, darling. Don't be too long now.
Charlie smiles as she goes off to another place in the building. Ezra slightly smiles. The man begins to speak.
Well, my dear, I must say for someone from Lutz, you really don't seem like much of a bag slinger.
Pardon? What's that supposed to mean?
You know, you don't seem like the sexual type. Not in the slightest.
Is that really all people think of when someone mentions the lust ring?
It is quite a place we live in, my dear, truly. But that is how most of the population down here thinks, and that is why most of these low-light Joes are down here.
Well, I don't know about other people are down there, but I'm asexual. I'm not into that type of stuff, and I don't plan on doing it as a job even if I'm desperate. The only way I feel like I'd be involved is if I'm conned.
You and me both. But I will say this in a frank matter. Despite your biggest efforts, you may end up being a Brody. May get conned in the end, for you are still a young mind.
I guess you're right about that.
Not to sound up tight my game, but I've been down here for quite some time. A grifter wouldn't usually try to goat me out of anything. You, on the other hand, are young, impressionable, and can easily be swayed out of something under the guise of money and fame, or whatever else those young people are into nowadays. Then again, I am someone of, how would you call it, high status.
You're an overlord. The radio demon.
Calls that her. He sticks his hand up.
Slip me 5, you wise woman. Never honestly thought people outside of the ring would know my presence and name.
Ezra smiles a little, but she takes the demon's hand.
I only tune into the radio once or twice. It sometimes helps me with my English. I've always wanted to get my name out there, so I surround myself with different media.
Well, I think you're grasping this new language quite well. What was your first language, might I ask?
Process?
I must say, let me ask you this.
Ezra snaps his fingers a few times, like he's trying to remember something.
Ezra Birkinshaw.
Ezra! Let me ask you something, Ezra. You want to get your name out there. Why do you want to be in life?
Thinks on the question for a moment.
My dream was to always be on the stage. I get that the world itself is a stage, but the stage is so entertaining. I promised my mother that one day I was going to be on one and get my name in the history books, but no offense, I don't think I can get there if I'm in pride.
Everyone has a starting point, and you would not believe how many people started from something so small. It's not impossible. Nothing is ever impossible unless you don't try. But it is a lot harder to start from nothing. You just have to think and use your imagination. Then you'll be right where you need to be.
Thanks for the wise words, mister.
The demon puts up his hand slightly to cut her off.
Please, call me Alastor. There's no need to be formal here.
Alastor. Thank you for the wise words, Alastor.
Chapter 3. First Love. It seems like long days. Ezra seems to finally get settled in. Thanks to Charlie and our members of the staff in the hotel. While Ezra looks outside of the window, she could see a woman talking to many others in the street. Before turning around to face her, the lady smiled at Ezra brightly as she gives a little wave. Her hair was the color of raven, and her eyes pierced like peridot daggers. Ezra seemed infatuated with the figure standing before her, standing in front of her like a goddess to mortals who never believed her story, standing like a tall building that couldn't be torn down. Ezra sat and watched as the lady danced like a windstorm, getting lost in her trance, like a siren enchanting sailor lost at sea. As her doors stood wide open, many of the hoteliers, in and out, in silence, for a member thought about breaking.
You doing okay in there, kid?
Ezra's head peaked as the spider spoke. A tall spider demon by the name of Angel, who most called Angel for simplicity, leans against the door before speaking again.
Who's the hooker you checking out, eh? She must be real good looking if you keep staring at her like that.
You shouldn't say that about people, you know.
So what? It ain't like I don't talk from experience. I'm one myself, you know?
I get that, but you do realize that throwing labels like that around gives innocent people bad reps in the first place.
Again, Toots, I get it. Back on point. Who's got you all dolls, Izzy?
Peers out the window again before pointing the lady out.
She's been standing outside there talking to almost everyone that passed by.
Angel laughed.
You fell for her?
What's the harm in it?
There's no harm in it. It's just she is known for being a tad bit boy and go crazy at times. Maybe a lot of the time. Or all the time.
Ezra rolls her eyes as Angel keeps laughing.
I'm not one to judge, but shit. She's known for doing those types of things.
She looks so wonderful and nice. She looks...
Looks like she won't learn to fly. Well, that girl right there would do all that and more. That chick is what Smiles would call a bad slinger. She's one of those broads that are no good, and I should know.
Well, how so?
I used to work with her, but after I finally got the courage to quit my job, and after she became that mom-slap puppy, I realized behind those green eyes was the devil.
Ezra thinks for a moment before sighing.
But isn't Charlie's hotel all about giving people second chances, no matter how awful the person?
Yeah, but some people don't deserve it.
Well, I think she does. Maybe I should try to ask her out to a movie or dinner. Maybe I want to see if she's really all that bad. She's probably just misunderstood, you never know.
Angel sighs before taking Ezra's hand.
I get where you're coming from, kid. And I get if you want to even after my warning. So I ain't gonna give you the deeds. But I'll tell you this much. If she so much as lays a finger on you, throws you out to some of her other guy or lady friends without your consent, come to me immediately. Got it?
Got it.
Good.
Ezra gets up to head outside, and Angel stops her.
And, kid,
Yes?
good luck.
Am I gonna need it?
If you're gonna be going far, and you're gonna need as much luck as you can get.
I think you might be exaggerating it at this point.
Oh, trust me, I'm not. But shoot your shot if that's what you're into.
Chapter 4. The Murders. A little over a year after the divorce, Ezra, as well as her brother and mom, got back to visiting Gluttony, her new place of residing after willingly leaving her job. Things had changed in pride for Ezra as well. Ezra was able to get the courage to ask Millie, a girl from the window, on a date. And they currently stand as courted. She was able to get a few street shows in, as well as outside of Cannibals. Most of the residents seemed to enjoy her presence, Alastor than anyone else. Sometimes Alastor would be peering around a shadowy corner, as a lady dressed in deep pink accompanied him. Other times, he was there at all. After she moved, she tried to visit as often as they could. Usually it was Cora coming to visit the hotel, or would stop by at Ezra's shows. This was the new norm. The girls seeing each other once or twice a month at one of Ezra's shows, waiting to meet each other up together backstage. As Cora white-knuckled a bouquet of purple roses and lavender plants to give her as a performance. Cora also tried to convince Ezra to move to Gluttony, a place of wonderful people, who adore music just as much as she adores Ezra in the arts. But Ezra seems so stuck on moving back to Lust and performing at the club she used to look at through her old window. Cora always believed that Ezra was crazy for wanting to move, especially since they moved away for a reason. Serene day, when they returned to Pride, after visiting Cora in Glen, through some convincing on her part, Ezra found the unusually tranquil. Usually the streets were full of small fans, hers, asking questions, or people wanting photos or signatures, or people going from storefront to storefront for stockpiled goods. There are even some cases where the sinners would do stereotypical things in the streets: murder, drugs, and violence. There was an opportunity for a people patrol. They meandered through the streets through the town with Maria and Archie. Suddenly, a resounding toll of a grand clock resonated through the air, each time more pronounced than the last. Chaos ensued as demons scattered, attempting to seek shelter within locked edifices, alleyways, and cordoned-off pathways, all prompted by the appearance of a colossal golden portal in the sky. As one of the angels laid claim to her brother, gradually wrenching the teal-skinned boy from his sister's room, Ezra desperately attempted to reach to her family. She yearned to console her brother and embrace her fading mother, hoping to convey an assurance that they would persevere. Yet it appeared that time had begun their grasp, leaving her efforts to soothe and reassure them tragically belated. Chapter 5. The Getaway. As the angels begin to leave through the portal, claiming many lives and leaving more demons injured, two dressed in silver and white clothing stand out in the sea of soldiers in black. They move in a line through the golden gates as the feminine soldiers hold their spears over their shoulders, blood covering their suits and masks, as they flaunt their weapons and talk about their individual death tolls that day. The man in white is guiding all of the angels in their place back to heaven after what he calls a successful kill. His lieutenant, the lady in silver, follows behind him. She takes her mask off, revealing a pale girl with silver hair and gray eyes. She heads into a room with the first man as she slams her fist on the table with rage.
That does it!
The man looks at his right-hand woman with a cunning grin and a look in his eye. The girl begins to spew off again, angrier than the last, her voice seemingly getting louder.
We let one get away, sir! He was in our grasp! That bloody siren!
You can't let one soul get away. It's all until someone moves. Besides, there's always the next year, and year after that, and
the year after that, and the year after that. I get it! We were so close!
Look, Lute, I understand that you're pissed, okay? I am too. We had clear shots, and we missed. But do you really think she's gonna get away the next time we strike? Does anyone that we go after the first time survive the second time around?
Of course not! Why would we make the same mistake twice?
Adam places a hand on Lute's shoulder.
Then what is there to worry about?
Get your hand off me, Adam!
Lute pushes Adam away in a fit of rage.
It's not like we were supposed to kill them anyway. I'm pretty sure they were hellborn.
And it's not like that fallen prick is going to do a damn thing about it. Yeah, we made a promise. It's not like he's going to know. His kind kills each other all the time, and he doesn't bat an eye. Just think of it as a tough war. It's no big deal. As long as we don't touch that Charlie bitch, then we should be fine.
I swear, she's a daddy's girl. But we're getting off topic, sir. What's going to happen if she does survive the second time?
I highly doubt that she will.
So we are going to get her? Is that guaranteed? What if she moves out of the ring?
She moves out of the ring. She moves out of the ring. But I assure you, the next time she's in Pride, I will make sure that this time, she won't be able to escape so easily.
Then that's another body on the list.
You know it, Danger Kittens.
That siren will be down for the count.
The first man and Lute make their way back to the other angels, as the lady puts her mask back on as they prepare for another year. In the midst of the duo sharpening their knives, Lute walks back outside the pearly lighted stairs, spotting a young man with blonde hair and a white halo, bright blue eyes, and a small smile on his face as he reads a big book of names. He looks at the angel with a smile.
Good morning, Lieutenant Lute. A beautiful evening, is it not? I hope you're doing.
Slams her fist down on the podium where his book lays. The pages move slightly from the wind.
Shut up! Shut up! Peter, just shut the fuck up!
St. Peter jolts at her ankle.
Hey, what did I do?
You just exist, Peter. It's pissing me off!
I just watched the door.
Luke groans at St. Peter's snapback.
You're not helping!
Does it have something to do with the extermination?
No! It totally doesn't have to do with the extermination! Why would it?
Then, what is it? Did Patrick Pickleton and the paper towel cartel overthrow the Malaysian government?
Are you purposefully being dense?
Huh? Lute rolls her eyes before groaning again, and hitting her hand beside him again.
I'm trying to help.
Never mind, just don't look at me like that!
Also begins to step out, hearing the confrontation.
Peter, do you need a pad?
How does that...
Do you need it? A pad, St. Peter. It's not that hard to understand. And what I'm asking here...
Lute side-eyes him.
Really, Adam?
What? I've said worse.
Chapter 6. The First Friend. Ezra rushes over the side of her defeat, waiting and watching, hoping she can do something to possibly bring them back. After what felt like forever, the young siren leans over their bodies, knowing her efforts are depleted. She lays down next to them, on the cold, bloody pavement, as she hears a voice call out to her. Ezra looks over to where the voice is coming from. A blurred figure, with long black hair, and giant horns runs over to her. She can't make out most of what is being said, hearing nothing but the chimes of the giant grandfather clock, and the ringing in her own ears. The imp's southern voice finally picked up to Ezra, as she can feel herself gaining composure, although she can't really pick up anything that she's saying. There seems to be a few more imps in the area. Ezra's vision starts to clear as she sees some blurry figures. She looks at the second imp. She also has dark hair and spoke in the same tone of voice. Another imp looks up from the chaos. A male imp with short white hair and striped horns runs over with as many supplies as he can carry. The imp kneels down to her as his gaze softens.
Are they hurt?
I don't think so. She doesn't seem like she's from around here. Maybe from a different ring?
This is a child. What is she doing out here? Where are her parents?
Yeah, where's the family, little one?
Ezra looks at them and looks back down at the two bodies beside her. Moxxie turns around slightly as Millie covers her mouth. Sallie Mae seems to keep her composure as she stares at the dead mom and boy. She takes Ezra to a different area away from the chaos and tries to speak to get her mind off of it.
Alright. I guess we can start off small. What is your name?
She tries to comprehend the question, looking slightly distraught before Sallie Mae repeats herself.
Name?
Ezra.
Ezra. That seems like a nice name. Where are you from, Ezra?
Ezra thinks for a minute as Sallie Mae keeps up the small talk to distract her mind.
Lust. From Lust.
Sally's eyes widen.
Plus, you say? That's pretty far from here. Me and my sister from Wrath. And so is that one over there.
As she nods her head to the white-haired imp, Moxxie gives a slight wave to her.
Have you met any cool people, celebrities? I hear there's a lot of them in that area.
I don't think so. I've always stayed inside, but there's this one guy that I see a whole lot.
What was his name?
I don't remember. In fact, I've never even met him personally. I just don't know him all that well.
Well, that's a shame. Do you remember what he looked like? Where did you usually see him?
Outside my window, we used to live across this big building, and this tall man would greet people at the door. He looked super cool. I wanted to go there one day, but I don't think my dad would have let me.
Tall man outside of a big building.
Yeah, I waved at him almost every single day when people were there. He never saw me.
And you lived in lust.
Do you think that might have been Asmodeus?
Maybe. Why don't we get her inside?
The others nod in agreement as Sallie Mae picks up Ezra in her arms.
Alright, where do we take her? Sloth is too far from here.
We could take her back with us.
As much of a wonderful idea that is, honey. She doesn't know us all that well. We can't just take her.
Do you have a place to go? We can take you there if you'd like.
There's this hotel.
Hotel?
The Husband Hotel. It's a few blocks down from here.
Oh yeah, that place. Yeah, I'll take you up there.
Chapter 7. Extermination Day. The day of bloodshed, we all lost a few souls, most of them young, others of old. Mercilessly murdered to keep us in control, our population has been taking a toll. I've lost my own blood on this very day. My mother, my brother, they were all torn away. This peace has been short, just like their lives, and now it's the angels the demons despise.
Chapter 8. The Move Back. Ezra's room seems a bit bare. The only things standing out are the painted walls and matching bedspreads, which you can barely see due to the filled boxes on the bed. The little housemaid, a small Cyclops lady, was helping out around the room, picking up small items before dusting the room. The maid looks over at Ezra, her one eye staring intently at Ezra, as she helps with the many boxes.
So, what made you decide to move back?
Ezra sighs before speaking.
I wanted to try to get my name out there, Niff.
You already made it so far. Why can't you stay here with us?
I want to travel outside of the rings too. It doesn't feel right just to stay in Pride and let all of you enjoy this and leave everyone else out there hanging.
Niffty nods a little bit as she keeps dusting and moving things into their respective boxes. Another Cyclops peers into the room. Niffty looks up at the other and waits.
Oh yes, what's all of this? You leaving us?
Ezra looks over again.
I'm really sorry, Cherri.
Mate, you don't have to be sorry for chasing your dreams. I get it. I really do. And if I wasn't stuck to staying in Pride, you know, me and my hoes would come by and see all of your shows up in Lust.
Ezra smiles as Cherry Bum punches her in the shoulder.
Hey, you know, if you ever change your mind, me and Angie are always one call away. You know that, right?
Forever and always.
Good. Now make sure you give us any piping drama that happens out there. Shoot us a text, give us a call, and let me know if you pick up some hot chicks.
I'm still with Marilyn, remember?
Right. But it's always nice to have a plan B.
Ezra rolls her eyes as Cherry Bum punches her again.
I'm holding out for you, Ezzy. Me and Angel both are. We'll ride or dies, remember, best buddies seeking havoc out in the city, always in each other's corners doing dumb shit.
Ezra chuckles again. She holds out her hand as Cherry Bum gives her a fist bump, helping her load her essentials into the car outside. Angel Dust, who is outside the door, gives her another hug before she walks out.
I have no idea what me and Cherri are gonna do when you're gone.
It'll be fine. I promise.
Angel pats her on the shoulder as Ezra goes off to find Alastor and Charlie. Charlie goes to Ezra, giving her a warm embrace, as Alastor gives her a typical smile. Ezra sheepishly smiles back before she goes up to Alastor.
No. This is it?
Things like it, my dear. Keep faith in you. You have the voice of a canary. Not far from being a dead pooper. It tells me you're just gonna keep getting bigger.
Will we still be in contact?
Of course! I'll try my best to keep in touch, my friend. I'll even make sure Rosie can be a pair of eyes and ears for me if I don't hear your name on the radio. You have my best regards.
Ezra tears up slightly as she gives him a quick hug. Alastor escorts her to the car, seeing her smile fade. He turns her around, lifting her chin slightly.
Remember what I taught you.
You're never fully dressed without a smile.
And
You better smile like you mean it.
don't make me proud.
Chapter 9. The Day. A few days go by, and Ezra feels as if no progress is being made. She hasn't gotten a theatrical job, no way to make money, and every time she sits down to play her violin, there's always someone that tries to put her down in more ways than one. Ezra seems to be losing hope by the minute. She doesn't give up. She sits down on the sidewalk, a few blocks from the closed performance bar that she remembers so dear. She sets a small box down beside her, as she plays the strings with her bow, a melody flowing like a clear waterfall out of the instrument, as a crowd slowly begins to form. As the demons pile, Ezra begins to sing a French lullaby, soft and precise at the same time. The crowd's soft applause after the ballad spoke numbers, even if her box didn't have a single penny. She looks up at the crowd, seeing an imp in the sea of succubi on the street. However, this imp wasn't like the ones who had saved her back in Pride. This imp was a tall, white clown who had robotic limbs. Like many of the others, he also seemed to have gravitated through the song. Ezra stood up off the sidewalk to see if she could get a better view, and that's when she saw him. Beside the imp was a tall rooster, dressed in blue. His green eyes looked Ezra up and down, and his beak curled slightly into a smile. The imp grabbed the man by the shirt, and he let out a small laugh, motioning to the girl. The clown walked towards Ezra, protege, following behind. Ezra's pink eyes dart from one to the other, as her mind finally clicks.
Hey, kid!
Ezra jumps slightly as she feels herself coming back together.
That was awesome!
Clown imp walks around her quickly in circles as he picks up her violin bow, touching her violin every once in a while in excitement. The imp begins to talk in a rapid manner.
I need to learn how to play. Either. How long did it take you to learn French? When did you get here?
Whoa, so many questions.
Ezra chuckles nervously.
Well, for starters, this violin took me 3 years to master. I've known French my entire life. I was born here, left to the Pride Ring, and now I'm here.
Ezra smiles awkwardly as the imp asks more questions.
So you are French? How long did it take you to learn English? Can you play other instruments? Do you do this for a living? Did you?
Fizz, that's enough now. We don't want to overwhelm her. I'm so very sorry about him, madam. But what you were doing there was absolutely lovely.
It's no problem, sir. I'm Ezra. I was a street performer down in Pride, and I wanted to come down here and try to make a career out of it. I used to live in that building over there with my parents and siblings.
Ezra points at the dilapidated childhood home.
That old thing by our bar?
Your bar?
Yeah, we both run Aussies down there together.
Ezra smiles and points at one of the windows.
I used to sit right in that window and watch the lights when it opened.
Asmodeus smiles, his mind also clicking.
So you were that little girl. I knew you looked familiar.
Ezra smiles brightly at his statement.
Yeah, he always talked about how worried he was for you.
Worried? Why worried?
We always heard a couple yelling. We don't want you to be in any form of danger.
Ezra's gaze softens, but she shakes her head slightly and smiles again.
Hey, how about you come along with us? You don't have to perform in the cold. You can perform with us. I don't mind, and I'm sure Asmodeus wouldn't either.
Ezra nods and smiles, taking the box that was on the ground and following the two men.
Chapter 10. The Rise of a King and the Fall of a Queen. The falling of grace lies into divinity, hurled inside of a fallen dignity. Everyone stares as words are spewed, rising of voices I wish to undo. I was 17 when I got my turn, set on a stage with the spotlight I earn. Every which way a monster draws near, over the moon or inside my ear. Feeding off joy, replacing it with failure, and the feeling of nothing cuts like a razor. Kings sit almighty while the queens take the blame, and death do they part due to ever crying shame. No one to blame but the girls who will stand, gaining their power with their feminine hand, afflicted by all, told no is not a choice, nothing hurts more when you don't have a voice. Despite all I've done, I came empty-handed to please all the ones who always demanded. Helped all those up who only hold me down, even if I was the one that caused them to drown. Faith always compels me to do what I love. All's well that ends well, though safe from above. Left unattended when starting my job, left me throwing away the things that I lost. Off to the heavens, I told myself, baiting my doubt as my hands were dealt. And with this hand I lay out my moves, quiet whispers fill up the room. Under the spell I cast on the crowd, amidst a big boom, boisterous and loud. Even then I knew I had found my home. Nevermore will I question where I can roam. Chapter 11. Curtain Call. Glasses of rose tint cover my eyes, leaving me with a disdained surprise. A sickly gleam covers the stage, while I sit writing the next book page, facing the crowd back to the wall, sitting in silence for my curtain call. Alien fires, spotlights, and candles, it seems on paper too much to handle. All that had happened seemed to be a dream that turned into a grand reality. Those who now know, those who see my face, look at me with honor, not with disgrace. I don't plan to go slow, I'll rise to the top. I'll make it there someday before my heart stops. I had a vision that this would get me far. No matter my limits, I will be a star.